right, it is Raymond Sons, Raymond and Sons, Raymond and Sons. What is going on today, Rod?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there, chilling, watching these games.
Well, we got a lot to talk about. I think one thing, well, first off, before I so rudely just start talking about business, let's talk a little bit about pleasure. How's your week been? I think the last time we spoke was before the Thanksgiving holidays. Is that the last time we talked to the
Oh
NBA?
yeah,
I think.
that was the last time we did the podcast. They had to get fat, take a little vacation, took that week off, but we back at it.
All right, so Rod, tell me about your Thanksgiving. Tell the Raymond and Sons crew what was going on in the Roberts household.
Well, we woke up, slept in a little bit, woke up, went to my mom's house, made a big breakfast to prep for the Thanksgiving dinner. Hung out over there at my mom's house, and then we was, invited to your house for the full Thanksgiving, the big meal, the two turkeys, all
Ooh,
the sides,
ooh,
the seven pies.
my goodness. I think we may have. I think that is one of the. I think that's one of the better Thanksgivings that I can think of. And what was the game that we played again?
Uh, how much weight can you gain?
The weight contest. So,
I
Roger,
won, but
you're just being
I didn't
so
get my pie,
humble.
so I don't want to talk about it. So
But
I won, did not get my reward.
look, let's just first off tell the audience what the weight challenge was and how people did and what you were supposed to win. I mean, you did win, but the
But I
prize
didn't
that you
win.
were supposed to get that I guess you ended up not getting. I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
rigged up, false advertisement.
So what was the game about?
But you come in, you weigh yourself
Uh-huh.
before dinner.
Uh-huh.
We playing the honor system because our hosts were too lazy to write down the weight.
Uh-huh.
So you weigh yourself, see how much you weigh, and the winner, whoever gained the most, wins a pie to themselves. I gained 5 pounds and only
You
left
really
with
you really ended up putting it down, man, at Thanksgiving. 5 pounds. I mean,
yeah,
how did you
I gained
feel
five.
after?
I gained 5 pounds and
Not
left with
one, not
with 5 pounds.
not three,
Not a
not
pie, none
four,
of that.
not five, but five. Jeez.
5 pounds. I think that the second place was like four or something, like 4.2 or something like that.
I think you were first place, and then I think my sister-in-law was second place. And
Yeah.
my brother told me that you had the meat sweats. Is that true? Can you confirm if you did
No,
have the meat
no,
sweats? Because he was telling me, hey, man, I think Ross got some meat sweats.
no. I was playing with the kids. It was wet, and there's a lot of people in there.
Okay, okay. The sweat
I
was
run around.
from physical exertion and not from.
Yes.
Okay.
No. Nope. And then I did not get my pie. I'm not gonna leave that alone until I get my pie.
So it's a good thing that I do know the person who makes those pies. You know, she is not here. It is not my wife, Raymond's son's team, first off. All right, so don't go there. But I do know it is one of the members of Raymond and Sons. So, you know,
Hmm.
she is not here to defend herself at this point, but I'm sure there will probably be a podcast that will be hashing this out. Because, again, America, my Raymond and Sons crew, I mean, we aren't one of those sugarcoaters. This is not reality TV show
We
where what we talk
live.
about is fake and fabricated. You get the truth. So we will get to the bottom of this. And to my Raymond and Sons crew, you will see
Bottom of me
exactly
get
what
my
goes.
pie, right? That's what we're gonna get to the bottom of me getting my pie, right?
All right, so we did that. So I did not participate myself, but you know, I think the thing that I enjoyed the most out of that Thanksgiving meal, it was the jerk chicken. The jerk chicken for me, flavorful, it was
Right.
juicy. That that was my thing. You know, I didn't even get a chance to eat the pie during that day because either I wasn't thinking or I was hosting, but I just totally missed the whole pie situation. I mean, we had homemade pecan pie. We ended up having homemade apple pie. Were there any other homemade stuff?
Sweet
Was
potato
there
pie.
homemade sweet potato pies? So one of the things that we are now instituting in the Marston family household I think we have a rule now where there's for big events there's going to be no store bought pies. I think did we talk about that?
No, I ain't talking. I'm
I think
still, look, I'm still on Publix bandwagon when it comes to their bakery.
yeah. I mean,
It met,
Publix is good.
cause
I'm
I
not.
met the lady that gave me my pecan pie for
Oh
Publix.
yeah. Oh, so you were able to certify.
Yeah, it was made with love. I asked her. She was like, "Yeah, this was made with love."
I mean, if you think about it, that kind of is home. I mean, you saw them. You knew the lady. You were able
Mm-hmm.
to co-sign her. So I mean, if you
She
know
was,
the person who makes it, I don't know. I guess I kind of consider that homemade,
yeah, because
right?
she
You
was
know the
putting them
person
out.
who made
She
it.
was putting them out when I walked up, and I
See?
said, "You made it?" She was like, "Yes." I was like, "Well, they made with love." She was like, "Of course." She
Oh
said, "You
man.
can't." She said, "You can't bake without baking with love."
Oh, wow. She
And I
used
said,
those
"Well, you're
exact
right."
words.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was like, "Yeah." I said, "You're right."
Wow.
Because you
Okay.
ain't baking angry.
Okay. Okay. But so we at least have to have. All right. Out of the pies, it's either Publix or homemade.
Okay, I can
Okay.
agree to that. I can
Okay.
agree to
Okay.
that.
So I gotta see
No
whether.
Walmart. No Walmart. I don't
No.
trust Walmart bakery.
No. No.
That's
No.
coming off the truck.
So I guess we're not getting Walmart to sponsor the show, is what you're saying?
No, no, Walmart can sponsor the show. Walmart, shout out, y'all great. I go there every Sunday morning.
This is
Holler at
true.
your boys. We got y'all. I'll plug y'all every week. Y'all send that check.
Oh man.
I drink a
Oh
great value water right now if they cut the
man.
check.
All right, so we ended up doing that, and then the next festivities, of course, was Black Friday. So tell me about your Black Friday experience. Do you feel like you were successful? What was the Rod's deal of Black Friday? Talk to me about
Okay.
that, Mr. Entertainment himself.
Okay. Black Friday, I got my Sonos sub on
Okay,
sale.
we did talk about that during the last podcast. So
I got it now,
yes,
y'all.
you
I
get it.
got it. Yeah, I got it. We good now. I got a bunch of smart switches. I got so many smart switches that I'm finding places to put them because I had ran out of places to put them. That made sense.
All right, so tell me the one place that is probably the weirdest place that you have put the Switch because you have all the normal places already taken care of.
I'm gonna give you two.
All
I'm
right.
gonna give you where I put it at and where I asked to put it at.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Oh,
So
me
where
and my
we
wife
asked to
got
put it at?
I
Hey,
me and
did
my
you
wife.
are you okay for saying this before we again?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. I just want to
Whatever
make
we
sure
talking.
that we know that the race once it's in the Raymond and Sons podcast crew is out. So I just want to
Yeah,
make sure
yeah,
that
yeah.
you're choosing your words wisely before you say this. I'm not trying to get you
Yes.
a divorce. All right.
All right. Look, we out here in hers closets.
Closets.
Yep. And
His and
I
hers.
asked. Yep.
So
His and hers.
separate sections of one closet or actually two separate closets altogether?
Two individual. We got two
Okay.
individual closets.
Okay.
That's separated by like a 5.5 foot wall,
Okay. Okay. So
and
you
they
can go
they
into
have
your
switches.
okay.
And I said, "Dang, I still got like four switches left." I said,
Uh-huh.
you want a smart switch in your closet?" And I got the most. I can't believe you asked me that. Look, ever that I feel disappointed asking that question.
Jeez. Like I thought that would might have been a good idea for her. She didn't
Yeah,
have to worry
yeah.
about she could just say, turn on, you know,
And the thing about it,
closet
she forgets
switch.
to turn the light off in the closet, and I walk by and turn it off. Matter of
That is
fact,
something that happens a lot with me is that light sometimes I will find it when I come home and I'll see the light on sometimes.
yeah,
So
it
and all I
stay
can think to
on.
myself is, man. Because I'm that guy. Like when I wake up in the morning and I see the light, I'm like, that light on was the whole night.
Yeah, see, smart switch.
All
I
right. So I guess what you're saying is that, I mean, does that mean you still can't put it in?
Oh yeah, I still got something left.
All right. So that was the weirdest place. So that was the request. But what about the most unique place that you actually did put one in?
The garage.
I don't know if that's
That don't
the.
make sense at all.
I
Come
mean,
on. I
look.
put it. I put it in. I put it in the garage, wired it up, everything, and got it working. And said, "How often do I turn this light on?"
But it's funny because one of the places that I was just telling you about with the it was on the whole night was the garage for me because we got the light for the actual garage door opener, but then we've
Right.
got
The switch.
the the switch for the light. And sometimes, we'll feed Vita, and then we'll take her back upstairs, and I'll wake up in the morning, and we forgot to turn off that light. So I was actually thinking of that. And when you have your whole, tell your house to turn off, that's gonna be automatically there.
Right. So
So that's not the
it's in the
weirdest.
garage. It's weird. It's a weird place for me because I use my garage motor light when I'm in the garage.
Yeah, yeah.
So I turn that light on probably every 6 months. Because if
Oh,
I'm in the garage, it's up.
because the door. So you're never working in the garage in the afternoon or in the evening after the fact, then.
Nah, I go in there and I grab what I got to get and get out. Because it's up. I always have it up when I go in there. I rarely go through the house and go in the garage
Mm.
and get stuff. Now, to get in the car and leave, yeah, I go through the garage.
But that's normally during.
But it's up though, still up.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
So
I don't think that's weird, and I would probably like for the places that I would put a switch, I probably would put one in there. So I don't think you're the craziest. I'm
yeah,
just saying.
yeah. That for me, yeah. But normally, and then I have them. I got them everywhere. I got smart plugs. I got the switches everywhere. I added an Echo Dot to my guest bathroom.
Hey,
Yeah,
how
it's
often?
crazy now.
That's the one downstairs. So
Yeah,
that's for your cat. That's really for your
yeah.
cat. Really.
I got it for. It's more for music. When I play music everywhere, I want to just walk into music now. Like I be like, I'm not gonna say her name. Play music
Yeah. Yeah.
everywhere, and she plays it everywhere. Now I just want to walk into it.
Look, I don't think having it in your personal bathroom is a bad idea because you'll spend some time in there.
Right.
It takes, when you're getting ready, you want the music on. But I've got to say, the guest bathroom downstairs, which is probably, other than the
That's for the gas.
closet,
That's for the
other than
gas
the
though.
closet, the least used area. I mean, I
That's
think
for the
you're in your
gas.
garage more than you are in the guest bathroom.
If you're in the guest bathroom, if you're in my guest bathroom, you can ask her a couple questions, get a couple fun facts, play a game, listen to some music. You
Hey,
know.
I guess for the guests who need to do the deed, I mean, you're gonna be entertained. You can tell her to tell you a joke. You can see what's going on in the news.
Yeah.
You can do flash
Talk,
briefing.
if
You
you're
can ask
doing,
what others like.
if you in there a while, I ain't gonna say what you in there doing, but if you in there a while, put on a little music. I have Amazon Music and I have Apple Music on it, so you good. What did you jam out, man? Vibe out.
All right, Raymond, the Sun's crew. I don't think when we started the podcast about 15 minutes ago, we thought we would go into this, but no, I did ask the question, so blame me if you guys are mad at that. All right,
Yep.
so we talked about your purchases. You got the switches. You're happy with the switches. You end up getting the Sonos. So how does the Sonos sound?
Ridiculous. Like I was missing a lot. I should have been bought that. I was missing without that subwoofer. I was missing a lot, and I just found out like it enhanced everything.
Uh,
Sonos, hey, if you want to sponsor, hey, I'm gonna do this for free. This is on me.
Look, and remember, Sonos, we do also do electronic e-news and stuff like that. So we can
Sonos,
do something.
I need some more. I need some ceiling speakers.
Yeah,
I'll let you
hey,
boy,
we can
man.
we can make sure we do a plug. We can make sure when we're doing our electronics section, we can headline it. We can say electronics sponsored by Sonos. We can do something about
Oh
that.
yeah,
Look,
that roll off the tongue now. That could
see,
just, yeah.
see. All right,
Hey,
so
look out for it.
yeah, so my Black Friday, I ended up getting three pairs of sneakers because I needed some work sneakers because my
Right.
foot. I mean, honestly, I'm embarrassed to say this, but I haven't bought work shoes in a long, long time, and it's at the point where my shoes were almost talking to me, so I needed to do something about that. Plus the slant of my foot, it was always to the side to the point where I needed to. I had to end up. My foot was sore, so because of that, I ended up doing like a buy one get one 50% over at Rack Room, and then I ended up finally finding myself, a pair of sneakers under $30. So I was happy with that. So I
So
was good.
you
So I was good to
so
go. So I
so
ended
you
up doing
came with
that.
you came with the weak sauce for Black Friday, huh?
Yeah, I mean, but hey, I didn't have any lines that I had to wait for. And then I ended up getting a smart lock for the door. So,
Right.
I will be getting that installed by Elite Restoration. Elite
Shout out.
Restoration for all of your elite restorative needs.
Home improvement
I know the
additions.
I know the president and CEO, so if you want a good deal, let me know. All right.
Right.
So that'll be done. And then got some LED lights that
Hmm.
the non-dimmable ones, and I just haven't had a chance to install them to all the houses because I'm trying to figure out whether or not I want my lights to be dimmed or not. I think I'm just gonna pull the plug and just change them all out, and then if something's not good and it's vetoed, then I can always switch those. But I think I'm gonna do that. But
You
none,
don't
none of
dim
that stuff
lights.
is gonna happen until next weekend because I got a lot of stuff going on this weekend anyway. So that's what the plan is gonna be for that.
Okay.
And I think that was
Oh,
pretty much it. Got something for, Philia. She's gonna be getting her toddler, or we got a convertible bed, so we're gonna be converting that. But for me, really non-eventful. I can't didn't do the
nothing
lines. I'm
Friday.
not a lines type of person, so I'm okay.
Not so you came with it was all right Black Friday. I spent some money. I got a lot of stuff on Black Friday.
Hey, but you
But
remember how much you were able to save
got
though?
I
Oh,
also got this.
oh, oh, uh-oh,
Oh
uh-oh,
yeah.
uh-oh.
So the audio quality on my behalf will be getting a lot better once I start playing around with this.
All right. So for those who aren't watching us on YouTube, what is that?
That is a Blue Yeti
Ooh.
mic. You know, I had to go with the red. Red is my favorite color, so I had to get it. I'm still waiting on the adapter because they don't come with a USB-C cable. So, and I only have Apple products, and they only take USB-C. So,
So essentially, he's gonna be. You think my voice quality is nice? Forget it. You're gonna be like, man, I need to stop talking so we can let Rod start talking because I
oh
think it's.
yeah,
I mean, I do have a blue myself, but it's just a snowball. It's not the Yeti. The Yeti is like upper echelon. I'm
I
just
won't say that.
intro getting into the
I
game.
won't say that.
Just getting into the game. You know how much retail your mic is? Your mic could be anywhere from 150 to 190 depending on where you buy it. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
you right. But yours like what, $30 cheaper?
No, no, I don't think mine is in triple digits. I think mine is in
Let,
the double digits.
let's go live. Let's do it.
All right, so this is the electronic portion of
Yeah, we're gonna do it.
Raymond
We're gonna price
Sons.
check it.
Let's do a price check. Let's do mine first because I know mine is the lower one.
Hmm.
Then we'll go up to yours,
Okay.
and you tell me what you're thinking. You tell me what you're seeing.
Let's see what we got here.
Blue snowball.
The blue snowball. We
Yes.
got two. They have two. They got a snowball and a snowball ice.
Okay, so I got just the normal snowball.
Cause the ice look like yours though.
I don't have the ice.
Okay.
It's just the snowball.
Okay, just a snowball. And we're retailing at. Oh, tell me what's going on.
Mm-mm, the suspense. The suspense is killing us.
Oh, they don't want to tell me.
Oh,
They don't want to tell me.
are you just Googling? Just Google it.
I'm on their website.
No, don't go on the website. They're not going to show you the price on the website. You just got to Google it. Just Google.
Add it to the cart. I'm gonna find a dealer.
Just Google.
You are priced at $119.
Oh wow. Oh, okay. All right. All
Oh,
right. All
okay.
right.
Top
Well, I
echelon.
forgot. I forgot. I actually got mine used, so that's why I'm thinking double digits. So I purchased mine used, but I guess I know it's worth triple digits. So all right, I feel a little better. All right, now
Okay.
let's go to you. Let's go to the man. Let's go to the man. Come on, tell me what you want to see. He's got that chuckle. He's got that
Uh,
Denzel laugh. That Denzel. Come on.
okay. I got the Yeti. I got the Yeti Pro. My bad. I
Oh,
apologize.
oh, bro.
Retail 129. What?
The pro. Mm. How much was the snow or the snowball ice that you were saying?
The Snowball Ice is retailing at that's 50, but I don't think you have that one.
I don't know. No. Does it say ice on the actual?
No.
I don't know. Look at how my mic looks right now. You tell me.
Yeah, it might be. You go right here.
Oh, I think I might got the ice then. Uh oh. All right, I probably got the ice then.
No, because you got a silver what in it? You have a silver stand. You don't have the ice. You have the snowball. Ah.
All right. Well, whatever
Look at
makes
it.
it sound good.
Uh, uh,
That's me. Okay, that's me then. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
All right. Then.
Uh-huh.
All right. Good.
Back to the 100.
All right. Good. 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 Well, I'm glad that I'm sounding good
Uh-huh.
for a reason. All right. So, anything else before we talk about our sports for today?
Um, that's about it. Oh, we will be at the Laker and Heat game,
Okay.
and I know we stay in South Florida,
Okay.
and it's supposed to be Miami Heat game. Nah, it's
Yep.
the Laker game. We know
Yep.
that, and
Uh-huh.
we know you're a Heat fan, but nah, Friday it's the late show.
All right. So we got okay. Okay. So we're gonna be on TV. The plan is we got to get Rod on TV because ESPN will be televising the game. It's not Fox Sports. It's not Sun Sports. My Eric Reed. He's not doing it today. So we got to see whoever ESPN commentator is. So Rod, we're gonna get you on the court. We
Uh,
gotta have you wear some Raymond and Sons gear so that we can get some extra publicity. Sponsored by ESPN.
yeah, yeah, and I go to jail live.
Oh, that'll definitely get us some hits. That'll definitely get us some hits.
I get arrested for going on the court, shaking LeBron's hand and high fiving AD.
Hey, you know, all in the name of what you love. You love the Raymond and Sons podcast, so you do it because you love us.
Right, and we, tell LeBron to shot us out
There you
at the
go.
press conference after they blow the Heat out. I'm
You
calling
know,
it now.
you know,
Lakers by 10, no, by 15.
do you consider that a blowout though?
Because it's gonna be worse than that, and then they gonna take them out, and then the Heat gonna make a little run, but it's really gonna be like 30 points, 25, something like that. But they'll cut it down to 10, 15.
Hey, I'm gonna say just because I'm the Heat guy and we've got to contradict each other for this, I'm gonna go with. Let's see. We're gonna say LeBron's not gonna play, but he's afraid
Mm-hmm.
to come to the Heat again. Okay,
I gotta look
no.
at the Lakers. I gotta look at the Lakers schedule now.
Yeah,
Make
let's
sure
see.
they ain't a back to
Are
back.
they doing a back to back? All
If
right,
it's
let's
a
take a
back to
look at
back,
that first.
we
Look
might
at
have to
that
sell them
first.
tickets.
All right, let's look at the Lakers schedule. Who are they playing before they play the Heat? Is it a back to back? And
If
then
it's a
based
back to
on
back,
that, we'll be
we
able
let
to
them go.
change my prediction. We got to see whether or not he's going to be doing his whole.
They play Magic the 11th, and they play the Heat the 13th, so they get a day off.
Normally, what ends up happening is there's always whenever they have road trips, it's always, hey, we're gonna go to Miami, then Orlando, or vice versa. So I was just curious whether or not it would be back to back or not. So they got a day in between. So that day in between is AD gonna be wilding out in South Beach.
I don't
You
know.
know,
He
you
might.
know.
He might be.
I mean,
Nah. He gonna take
Lakers
it
coming
serious.
out. The Lakers coming to town. This is the first one that they've done, and now since Lakers are actually relevant this year, they may have some people that they may want to see. They may have some parties, especially around the holidays. A little ho ho ho, Merry Christmas activity going on. spreading the jolly spirit. So, they may have some stuff to do. So we'll see.
Right. Um, they should
That
play
change your
that game.
prediction a little
It's
bit. You
only
still double digits.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, it's still double digits now.
Oh,
That
okay.
ain't gonna change now. What y'all gonna learn about me when I say I stick to it, and I stick to straight blow eyes. And if
All right.
your
So,
team is the team I'm talking about, oh well.
what I was gonna say. So who are they playing after? Are they playing a game? Are they doing a? Oh, they probably are. They doing a back to back after? Because that'll tell me whether or not there's gonna be something on the news going on.
No, they go to Atlanta the 15th. So.
So they got a day off in between.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling they may spend an extra night in South
No,
Beach.
no, you go to
South Beach
Atlanta.
before they go to Atlanta, and then Atlanta. Hmm.
You go to Atlanta because out of them 3 games, only one of them like broadcast nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
So
the Heat game.
yeah, after the Heat game, they're gonna celebrate a little bit. They're gonna say, let's take a day off. Take a day
Right.
off in between, hang out in South Beach for a night. LeBron show them
No, you gotta get up to Atlanta. They'll probably
Atlanta.
leave. They'll get to I don't know. Yeah, they'll fly. So they'll fly to Atlanta. They'll probably get
They're
there.
private. They're flying on LeBron's jet. What are you talking about? Flying on
So
LeBron.
that be
This is what's
that
gonna
be
happen. The team is chartering their plane. Their plane is supposed to leave that night. LeBron says, "You know what? Hey, don't worry about it. I got y'all. My
hey.
My
When you the man,
G7.
you the man.
You
When
know,
you the man, you the man. They call him
G7.
the king. They call him the king for a reason.
You know, they're gonna fly out of they're gonna fly out of the executive airport, not even just Miami International. And you know what? I got y'all. Don't worry about it. We'll stay the night, and tomorrow morning, we'll fly you out to Atlanta. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, they'll be there on the red eye. They'll get in Atlanta early morning, chill, sleep in, go to shoot around, practice around noon, afternoon in
Yeah,
Atlanta.
that's all they need. They just take a flight. They just sleep on the plane. That's all they need to do. Quick, 30, 45-minute flight.
It's a 2 hour flight.
I don't know. Not LeBron is the G7,
Oh, now if
not
you
the G6, the
they
G7,
riding on
the
the
G10
King
now.
plane, you get there in 34 minutes.
There you
Ah,
go.
chin to
There you
Charles,
go.
baby.
There you go. All right. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a little more competitive. I think it's gonna be single digits. Which way is it gonna be?
Jimmy,
Single digits Heat, or is it gonna be single digits Lakers? I'm gonna say ESPN. I'm a homer. I'm gonna say single digits on the Heat end. The Heat. They come out with. The Heat's up by like 10 going into the fourth quarter. LeBron and the team, they're like, okay, let's start playing. And, they get close, but they don't win. And the Heat end up continuing their undefeated home streak. So that's what I'm saying.
oh, he undefeated.
At home, at home, at
I'm
home,
talking about at home.
at home. So they're
Oh
going to
yeah,
keep that going. They're going to keep that going.
they get snapped. They get snapped.
All right.
Friday.
So that's what I'm going to say. So we'll talk about that during the next Raymond and Sons episode. All
Oh,
right.
and stay tuned for live footage from the game because we out there. We're gonna be
Okay, that's
live.
right. We got Twitter. We got the Twitter feed. So
That's
we got
right.
the Instagram. We got the Insta going on. So you'll be able to. We'll see play by play what's going on, and so you may not even have to wait until the next podcast to figure out what's going on. So we got it to you
Yeah, we're
live.
gonna give y'all a little bit.
We got it to you live. Whatever way that you like to do your social media, we're gonna get it there.
Oh, the Heat 16-6. Ooh.
That's what I'm saying, man. I'm telling you. Remember what I was? We were like you said, we're only a quarter of the season in, so we still got three
Yeah.
quarters left. But I'm thinking that Rod's prediction of seventh or eighth, is, I'm hoping that he's wrong. So
Nah.
we'll see how that tunes out. We will see how that tunes out.
So
All
let's
right.
talk about this college
Okay.
football, this
So
playoff,
yeah, that's what
these
we're gonna talk
championship
about.
games.
So let's talk about the championship weekend. Let's talk first. Why don't we tell the fans exactly if they haven't been watching the games? We'll talk about the big four, the big four. Not the four teams that made it to the champion that are making it in the playoffs, but the big four conferences. Let's talk about who ended up winning what, and if you had any surprises with that. So let's go on first. Let's talk about ACC.
Mm-hmm.
So who ended up winning that game? What were your thoughts on the game? And we'll just go from there. And
Well,
then
Clemson.
Clemson against Virginia.
That wasn't it. Wasn't no surprise at all. We knew Clemson was going to hammer them into the ground and show that we still here, but we got more to show for the playoffs. So that wasn't a surprise.
Yeah, so
The
that game was.
surprise was the Wisconsin Ohio State game.
Let's talk. All right, so let's talk
The
about
first
Big
half.
Ten. That was the first half. Let's talk about Big Ten. So tell me what's going on. You're watching the game. What are you thinking?
Ohio State out in the playoffs.
I was actually hoping to. Again, the University of Miami fan that I am, I still remember that game when Miami should have won it, did it because of a bogus call, and Ohio State ended up winning. So I still remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, I'm not an Ohio State fan. So I was actually rooting for an upset, and it looked good in the first half, 21-7.
Yeah, Wisconsin scored when they wanted to, pretty much manhandled Ohio State. And I see why Ohio State dropped in the ranking. Because that showed, like, hey, man, Clemson, LSU, Oklahoma. Ohio State will be Oklahoma.
Let's just talk about this game first, and then we'll do
Yeah.
more of what our take is for the
But
championship and what our predictions are.
The first half, I was surprised. I was like, okay, Wisconsin got this. And then that second half came, no, they don't.
As quickly as it came is as quickly as it left.
Yep. No, they don't. It got worse. And then it's supposed to be on a neutral ground.
Yeah.
But it was clearly Buckeyes.
I mean, that game was being played in Indianapolis, Indiana. Indiana's a
Right.
lot. I mean, I feel it's closer to Ohio than it is to Wisconsin, but also just the fame and just the prestige of that program gonna have people traveling.
They're gonna travel.
So
they travel
they're gonna
well.
travel.
So, but that was an entertaining game the first 3 quarters, and then it just got ugly. Well, 3.5 quarters. Then it just got weird.
Yeah.
The LSU game, first 5 minutes was entertaining.
Yeah.
And then LSU just manhandled, my home state, Georgia, but Georgia won. They ain't ready for what that offense that LSU bringing and that defense they got.
And well, for me, like, I always look at games offense and defense. So when I'm looking at that game, look, what LSU gave up? What was it? 10 points or 17? Let me see the scores. Let me see the scores.
The Georgia game?
Yeah, 10 points. So that's obviously testimony to a good defense.
Right.
And the offense, 37 points. I mean, that's not like, when you're playing these SEC games and everything, it's supposed to be like smash mouth, beaten up. These games are supposed to be tight and close, but that just shows you how much. I mean, 37-10, that's supposed to be a championship game. I mean, these are supposed to be the two best teams, and it's a blowout.
You got to think about it. Most of the championship games go that way. The only ones that really be neck and neck is what's Oklahoma in? Like the Big 12?
Because they don't have any defense, so it's like whoever the last
one
gets
the
a win.
ball. Right.
I wasn't thinking 37-10 though. That's like 4 touchdowns. If that was a national championship game, people would have been. The talk would have been.
Oh, they turned the game off at halftime. Something to do. But you got to think about it. Alabama, when they was in the SEC championship game, they were doing the same thing. It was competitive in 1 year.
I don't. I mean, you probably know better than me because I don't pay attention much to SEC. I'm an ACC guy myself, so
the championship games.
That's 4 touchdowns. A 4 touchdown.
But you know who the dominant team is in that conference.
4 touchdowns. Come on.
Not you rarely see upsets.
But I don't think if you look at the line for that game, Vegas wasn't thinking 4 touchdowns. They were probably thinking single digits. I mean, I think
What?
everybody knew LSU was going to win.
No.
It was double digits. That the line for that. I mean, I don't know what it is,
Yeah,
but
I think they spotted Wisconsin like 17 points or something.
oh, you
Or
mean
30
LSU?
or something. No, oh, LSU, I'm sorry.
I'm talking about the LSU Georgia game. No, no,
Oh.
no. Ohio State. I figured they probably thought that was going to be a double digit one, but I'm talking about Georgia LSU. I figured the line was probably single digits. But I mean, 28. That's 4 touchdowns, man.
Um, I don't know, man, because let me
All I know
see.
is, okay, fine, 2 touchdown win, fine, but 4? I don't know, but yeah.
They gave him 7.
See, that's
They gave
just
him
one
7.
point.
Because
28
you
points.
thought, but you thought it was going to be a lot more defense.
That's true. So that's kind of my point. So
I know it
yeah,
was going
so
to be
Georgia
LSU
wasn't
offense
ready.
was potent.
Yeah, and that's what they've been talking about. That's what they've been talking about. This is probably the most potent, more potent than probably when Landry and Odell were there because they actually got a quarterback.
Right.
You know? All right, so we talked about that for a little bit, but no, I did not think it was going to be 28 points. I thought maybe 14 points. 2
Right.
touchdowns. LSU has it in the game. Maybe Georgia tries to do a little something to make it interesting, but in the first quarter, 14-0. Second quarter, both of them scored 3. LSU just went crazy in the third quarter, 17 points, 17-0. And
Mm-hmm.
then fourth quarter, Georgia just got something towards the end of the game. Well, fine. In the beginning of the fourth quarter, and it was 7-3. So again, like we said, I mean, after the third quarter, after that touchdown, that first touchdown, then it was pretty much done. So
Right. But
not happy with that.
but
Or I mean, I'm happy, but not happy with the fact that it wasn't a close game.
you got to flex it. Like in the championship games now, you got to flex your power and show the world like we way better than them.
All right, so when we see that score, how do we feel about SEC? I mean, is SEC top heavy then? They're not even top heavy, or
Now one on LSU won't, they'll be number 1, so they'll probably say OU.
but so I mean, after looking at that game, I mean, everybody talked about SEC. I mean, again, I'm not. I mean, SEC they are strong. They are a strong conference. But when I'm looking at that, if that's number 1 and number 2, and the game is that, I don't know if I'm that impressed with the caliber of the entire conference. They may get the championship that year, but that whole conference top to bottom, I'm not impressed by looking at that game.
Right. And
All
then
right.
I do have a surprise.
Okay.
Utah. Utah
Huh.
blew they blew their playoff
Gosh.
spot.
Look. So they end up playing against Oregon, and that was the first game. They played that on Friday night, right? The
Yes.
Friday night game, the
Mm-hmm.
first championship game. That was their chance. All eyes on Utah because I've never really watched a Utah game, so I can't really say that I knew what was going on. I would see the scores, but I wasn't really watching it, and that was their chance to show the world. And big, that was a choke art. That was a choke artist scam. I mean,
Yeah. And you was in the
Oregon.
playoff. You was in the you was in the conversation for
They were in a
playoff.
conversation, and I could see if they would have won that game, especially with when we talk about the OU versus the Baylor game. I before we talk about that game, we could have made some arguments saying that maybe Utah has a chance to get that number 4 because
Right.
the way that Oklahoma lost against an unranked team, but that Oregon game. I mean, it was an
It was
Oregon game,
bad.
not the Utah game, so.
Yeah. So they got they blew their spot. So good
They
luck in the
blew their
bowl game, Utah.
spots. I mean, I mean, 37-15.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. And they were the number 5 team, so they would be the team that should have moved up if any of the top teams lost, is how I looked at
Right.
that. And they lost their opportunity.
Yep.
So that's that one.
Could have
And
been
then
12-1.
that's pretty strong. 12-1, even though Pac-12, we don't think that's a strong conference, but
Oh
if they're
no.
ranked number 5, they win. I mean, I think they go up. All right.
Right.
So let's talk about the most interesting game that went on, Oklahoma against Baylor. So I was watching the first part of the game, and Oklahoma they were kind of running away with it. So I actually didn't watch the second part of the game, which I guess to my detriment, I missed out on because, they, once it was the third quarter, it was 2013. I'm like, okay, they probably got in the bag. And then I guess I missed the game, and Baylor ended up scoring 10 points in the fourth quarter, overtime.
Right.
And I mean, there were some points in the game where you thought that Baylor might have won the game. I mean, if it wasn't for
Yeah.
that quarterback being knocked out, I think they would have had it. They may have had a chance to beat Oklahoma.
Right. But it like Oklahoma should have won that game by more. You would
I
think.
agree. I agree.
But I wasn't surprised that they won. I wasn't surprised how close it was because both of them Big 12 and they don't really play too. Not saying they don't play defense, but it's not
Mm-hmm,
shown as much as high octane offenses.
mm-hmm.
But hey, OU, you did your thing, so you get in there in the playoffs. Now, you get in the playoffs, you're gonna play LSU first
All right, so
round.
let's talk about. So let's tell the team. Let's tell the audience. Today was the college football playoff. This is when they decided who the four teams were. And I think when you and I were talking, I think we pretty much our whole thing was what was going to happen if Georgia won, and would there be two SEC teams in the in the playoff? Was kind of what we talked about. We didn't really give much credit to the Pac-12, and we kind of were like, maybe Oklahoma because they travel. Maybe that would happen. But let's tell the audience who is four, then three, then two, then one, and then we can break up who's playing who.
Okay.
So who's number
So
four?
OU.
Fourth team. All right. So OU ended up. They were the team that ended up winning, and they were the team that ended up taking the place of Georgia.
Georgia would have been Utah. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, Utah
Mm-hmm.
fans.
Yeah.
So close.
Mm-hmm.
So close.
Mm-hmm.
But OU for Clemson 3.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Buckeyes 2, LSU 1.
All right, so those are the four games. So which means who is playing who?
LSU playing OU.
Mm-hmm.
Buckeyes playing Clemson. And Jesus, Ohio State. It was
All
fun
right.
while it lasted.
All right, so let's talk about what your thoughts were on the rankings. Are you okay with the rankings? Do you
No.
feel that the rankings are off? Tell
Off.
me what you think and tell me why.
I feel like this. All right. Who was the defending national champion?
Clemson.
Clemson. So I'm the champ.
Mm-hmm.
And just because my schedule was booty and we played down to some competition, we sat at number 3 majority of the year.
Mm-hmm.
The champ supposed to stay number 1 until the champ get beat, right or wrong.
Mm-hmm. No, I think you are the champ until you are the
Go.
beat. You
Right.
know,
So no matter
you don't.
what.
You have to lose. I mean, somebody got to take it away from you.
Right. So
That's how I look at it as a championship. Is if you got somebody that takes it away from you, then okay. But you can't just lose it if you're doing what you're supposed to do, right?
Right.
So that's how I look at that.
They undefeated, no blemishes.
Mm-hmm.
But they number 3 all year.
And I mean, they've been. You know what? I'm gonna go right now to ESPN. We're gonna talk about some of these games. All right. So the only game that people are probably mad about is that UNC game where they won 21-20. They had a chance to lose that game because UNC went for 2, which I would have done if I was UNC, and they ended up losing that game.
Yeah, you don't got nothing to lose, so
All
why
right, so
not?
since then, they beat Florida State 45-14. Sorry, Rod. They beat Louisville 45-10. BC 59-7. I think this Nevada Wolfpack. I think Nevada probably 59-14. They play NC State 55-10, Wake Forest 52-3. An SEC team in South Carolina 38-3, and they beat Virginia 62-17. I mean, they not just And then let's
They
talk
doing
about
champion game.
before that. So they play against, I think, Charlotte 52-10. They play Syracuse 41-6. They play Texas A&M 24-10, and they play Georgia Tech 52. So other than A&M, which is an SEC team, that UNC game, which again, I think it was UNC's homecoming. In South Carolina
Listen,
38, they're averaging. I want to say they're averaging close to 40 points a game.
listen. Only thing you just said they were doing champion cancel. They did championship like champ things. Like we are the champs.
Like
We still the champ.
like Rod and bowling, champ.
Yeah. You know, champ. Clemson champ. They showed you we are the champions, but they sat at number 3 for 90% of the college football season.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So
where do you think
so
you think they should have been number 1?
Number 1 until proven otherwise. Like you said,
Yeah.
until you beat me. Beat them. You got a problem with it? Beat them. So they should have stayed at number 1. 2 through 4, they could have kept flip-flapping back and forth. But Buckeyes, they going to take that out on y'all because y'all was number 1 when they weren't number 1 and when they should have been number 1. So they finna show the world that they should have been over y'all the whole season. And they're probably going to beat the Buckeyes by 3 touchdowns.
See, I mean, so for me, we're looking at the rankings. So you told me who you thought number 1 was. Who do you think number 2 should have been? And I'll give you my top 4.
LSU.
So LSU would have been number 2.
Buckeyes
Okay.
3, and 4 could have been a toss-up, but, OU got it, so I'm fine with OU at number 4 because, the competition they playing over there in the Big 12 and just how many close games they had this year. And then the loss they suffered.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm looking at that. I think 4, I agree 4 being OU. I think they played themselves in, and, I think for them being a winner of a conference tournament, I'll give that to them. I don't think that any of the other conference tournaments would have done anything, and so I'll give them 4. Number 3, if we're just judging based off of what we saw on Saturday, I'm saying number 3 is OSU. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
you can leave them.
I'll give them also not just Saturday, but Saturday plus everything else. Like if we're just going by games, I mean OSU probably should have been 4 if we're just playing Saturday. But if I'm looking at everything, they were losing, but they showed resiliency. They came back and they ended up putting some points on the board, and they shut down.
And they're undefeated. One loss.
Yeah. So I agree. So 3 out have been OSU. The Clemson versus LSU. If we're looking, I mean, you can't blame the schedule. I think that what should have been ranked versus who's going to win. So I'm not mad at LSU being 1 and Clemson number 2. Because
you just did the champ speech, though.
No, I agree.
I'm the champ. Beat me. I'm ranked. I'm supposed to be ranked number 1, no matter what, until I lose.
I'm just looking more at when I look at LSU's schedule and the teams that they played. I think there is something to yes. You can't control who you play against, but
can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
LSU schedule. Name one team on there that beat Clemson.
It's the same thing the other way around too. So what we're gonna do is, so I gave you the play-by-play on who Clemson played. So we're gonna do the same thing with LSU. We're gonna talk about the LSU games, and you let me know what you think. So Texas 45-38. I mean, beginning of the year, we thought Texas was something, but Texas isn't anybody else.
Who thought that? Not me.
I mean, I thought that they would be ranked in the top 25. I thought they may play for – I thought that maybe they are going to have a chance to play Big 12. It would have been nice to see OU, Texas, Red Rivers showdown, but seeing that in the championship game, but, that didn't happen.
No, Texas
Uh,
ain't back yet. They're not back to
yeah.
where they used to be. No, not yet.
I mean, I don't know who this first. I'm trying to look at Georgia Southern was the first game, so that I mean, I
Mm,
get it. You're gonna beat yourself up, so give yourself a
right.
easy game. So I've never heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's Georgia Southern. I mean, we don't even have to go over the score. That was 55-3. Let's see
Uh-huh.
this third game. Who is this? That's another game now. Northwestern State. Okay, fine. Probably shouldn't have done
Okay.
that either. But hey, look, you play in the SEC. You know you're gonna have the busy schedule. All right, so
Mm-hmm.
now let's go into the heart of the actual schedule itself. So you got, I mean, Vandy. 66-38. Got Utah State, looks like 42-6. You play the Gators, 42-28. Mississippi State, 36-13. You got Auburn, 23-20. Then you got Alabama. I mean, that's where I think they ended up getting it because of the Auburn and then Alabama, 46-41. Ole Miss, 58-37. Arkansas, 56-20. Texas A&M, 57. And then Georgia, 37-10. So the scores were similar to what we saw with
Right.
with that, but I think for them it's more of the strength of schedule. The team that they beat
Yeah.
were
I
better.
only
That's like,
heard
like
two
the
teams they
tiebreaker. It's
beat.
a
What?
tiebreaker.
They beat Georgia, they beat Auburn, they beat Alabama. Rest of them.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. But I mean,
Let me
those
ask
are
you this
like,
question.
but those three are top 10 teams.
LSU versus OU. You got LSU, obviously.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. OU,
I got.
it's gonna be like, why did I watch this game?
Oh,
OU last year
damn.
this game. It's like, I got it in the background because Raymond and Sons. We talk about sports, so I want to make sure that I have a chance to comment intelligently that
Mhm.
because we are a sports podcast. So that's the reason why I got that on the background.
Okay. So, Clemson, Buckeyes. I'm taking Clemson.
I'm taking Clemson too because again, and we were talking about this earlier this morning. I think this plays perfectly into what Dabo wants because they actually now have a chip on their shoulder. They
They're
get
gonna
to
punish them one them
Oh, they really will.
Buckeyes and LSU that were flip flopping 1-1.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, they're gonna punish them.
Yeah, yeah. Like I think that. Well, again, OSU was undefeated. If it wasn't for the fact that if they were a one-loss team going
Mm-hmm.
into the championship, then then they probably would have been number 4, and then so that would have been LSU would have. It,
So
well, LSU will still beat them, but we're gonna see the game that we want to see. I think everybody wants to see
Clemson, LSU.
Clemson and LSU. The whole everybody talks about SEC how great they are, and then Clemson. I think they're gonna be the underdog or not the underdog. Let me not say that. So I think that the people are gonna be doing the whole SEC, 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 and then ACC you don't play anybody game, which I think is perfect fuel for Dabo. So Dabo can do the whole, hey, they don't think we need to be here. We're in the ACC. We don't get the
Mm,
respect. We've won 2 of the last 3, but nobody knows who we are.
right.
And so I think this is perfect for Dabo. And then I think ultimately, I think that I got to go with ACC on this because I am a homer, and I think Clemson is going to win. I think Clemson is going to win it all. I think that. I mean, I'd like for it to be a close game, like the Alabama, not last year's Alabama Clemson, because that game was again that was another blowout. I don't see people talking about that game. You know how people talk about the Notre Dame game being a blowout. That Alabama game, that was a
Well,
blowout. That was a blowout game, man.
oh yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
blowout game. If that would have Notre
So
Dame, oh, forget it. But
who
that's
you
not
got?
the common
Clemson,
picture. So I got
Clemson,
Clemson. I
and
got
LSU.
Clemson being LSU. I think that. Do I think it's going to be high offense, lots of points, or do I think it's going to be, not a lot of points and it's going to be a struggle? Gosh, I hope it's a lot of points. I really hope it's a lot of points because I want to be able to watch. I hope it's like one of those games where whoever the last
I
team
want.
wins.
I'm a Florida State fan.
Mm,
Clemson in the ACC. So I'm rooting for Clemson. ACC we running to running it college football. So
All right, so you're rooting for them, but who do you think is gonna win? There's a difference.
Clemson.
Okay, I just want to make sure because there's a difference
Oh yeah.
between.
Oh, you didn't know that from the
Oh no, I just want to make sure that
beginning.
I do that. I just want to make sure that the MB that our teams over here, that the Raymond and Son crew knows who you're rooting for. Okay, and
I'm rooting for
who's gonna
Clemson.
actually win?
I got Clemson winning, beating LSU by 17.
17.
Beating them by 17.
God.
Turn your TV off after the third quarter because it wasn't
What?
close. Yeah.
Nah.
Listen, you don't disrespect the champ like that. And the committee and the ranking been disrespecting them for like 90% of the season. So majority of the season, Clemson been at 3. At one time they were 4, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So you've been disrespecting the champ. We the champ and we undefeated. Oh, we got to show the world. So
Man, because both of these.
if I'm down, I'm like, listen, we got to show the committee we are the champs, hands down. Ain't no debate. We should have been number 1 all season until we lost. But if I'm the coach, we gonna punish. We gonna punish whoever we play. Get in our way, we destroy you. Make your program look like it should have never been here in the first place.
Jeez.
But hey, I'm different though. So, but if I'm a Clemson, you should have been 1. You need to play like you should have been 1 and destroy everybody.
That's what I hope happens too, because again, like the big thing everybody was talking about this year was going to be Alabama against Clemson Part 4. You know, they were talking about Tua in the beginning of the year. They were talking about Tua in the beginning of the year.
But remember, I told you that. I said Alabama ain't gonna make it.
Mm-hmm. Would it have been different if Tua wasn't hurt, though?
No, Alabama ain't good enough.
I mean, if Tua wasn't hurt, so if Tua wasn't hurt, would you say that it would be Alabama against Clemson, Part 4?
No. LSU. If Tua was hurt, one wasn't hurt, and Alabama snuck in at 4, the other 3 teams clearly better than them. So, not saying they wouldn't have been competitive games. Like they probably would have played. Well, it would have been LSU again. And you see how that game came out.
LSU would have played against Alabama, but if Tua wasn't hurt, and Tua would have been in that game,
it would have been competitive.
Because you remember the game. If we're looking at the game and what the score was, the question is, do we think that Tua
beat LSU?
Yeah, because you remember
you got to think like this.
Those 2 pick sixes. If Tua was in that game.
They prepare for Tua.
That's true. Okay. All right.
I forgot to back up for Alabama, but you don't pick like so anything he show you is new until you learn it.
That's true.
So of course we don't know how to play him because we don't know what he can do. But we've been game planning to play Tua, and then Tua got took away from us, and then we don't have no tape on this guy. We got college. We probably got high school footage.
Oh, okay.
So we don't know what he can do. We don't know what Nick Saban doing with him. Is he gonna open the playbook or he gonna give him 30% of the playbook? We don't know what. So LSU defense wise, you playing by the 8 ball because you don't know what he's gonna do. You just got to learn on the go, on the fly, and make adjustments to what he do well. And you know what? I play defense, and we play certain people. I know what they did well.
You know what their tendencies are. You know how they align. You know when they hold the ball a certain way, what's going to happen.
Right. And if I see it, I'm like, okay, he do that real well. So I go tell my defense coach, hey, man, when he roll out, hey, we got to stick to the receivers, or y'all got to keep him in the pocket because when he roll out on the run, he's a problem.
You don't think You don't think they have a couple of plays that they haven't seen yet that they're just saving because they're figuring that this is for the SEC championship?
Who? LSU? Alabama.
No, Alabama. Alabama got some plays that.
No, Alabama pretty much. You know what you're gonna get. They got some speed at wide receiver, and then they hammer you, and then slant you, and post route you to death. play action, and then they got good tight ends that can do block and catch. So
because
you
the
basically
argument that
know what you're getting.
yeah, because the argument that most people are going to say is, does Tua give you those 5 points?
No, no, because
And does
you.
LSU?
I would say like this: LSU defense would have probably played different against Tua than they played the other guy, because they got film on him on Tua.
Because we know
And they seen him.
Because LSU is not going to be scoring 46. LSU is probably going to be what, 32 points if we just take out those 2 interceptions. Because we know that the offense is pretty much going to be, or the defense, or the offense of LSU is going to be the same whether Tua is there or not. So the question is, how does LSU's defense fare against that? Because we know the offense is still going to be putting up.
LSU would have played better.
Mm-hmm. You think they would have played even better defense because of the discussion that you're saying, that they would have known exactly what Tua wanted to do, and they wouldn't be okay.
So you know what Tua can do. You played him last year.
Mm-hmm.
You got a bunch of college tape on him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was unmobile.
Yeah. That's another caveat too, because we saw that happen before in the what was it? It was an SEC championship game last year.
Right.
When Tua was not mobile, he was injured. Jalen had to come back, and they ended up winning that game. So we have seen that tape before. So you're right.
Yeah. And then if you watch that game with LSU and the backup, they blitzed him. He caught him and blitzed him, and then they shot his zone.
Yeah.
So we don't really know how they would have played. Like, they would probably play a whole nother defense against Tua.
That's true.
And would have been a lot better. It would have been a better game plan. So with a quarterback you never seen, you got to let him do his damage, and then at halftime, y'all got to make adjustments and don't let him do it no more.
Mm-hmm.
But with a quarterback you've seen, you like, okay, I know what he'd like to do. So when the whistle, we're gonna just try to stop it.
All right. Okay.
But I still got LSU beating Bama. Like, the top D1 through 3 this year, they better than Alabama. Like, Alabama,
I agree.
their defense ain't what it used to be. They secondary always a weak spot for them.
You know what? Let's take a look at Alabama, who they play. Just since we did that, just so that we can make it the same, apples and apples. All right, so Alabama played Duke 4-2-3. They played New Mexico State, I guess. New Mexico. Yeah, that's New Mexico State. They ended up playing them, and they won 62-10. Then they played South Carolina 47-23. I don't know who this. Who's I think that's University of South Mississippi. They played 49-7. We got Ole Miss 59-31. We got Texas A&M 47-28. Tennessee 35-13. Arkansas 48-7. They lost that LSU game. Mississippi State 48-7. They lost Auburn 48-45. And then Western Carolina. So, yeah, I mean, when you're looking at the people that, it's just a numbers game. When you're looking at the teams that they played, the teams that LSU beat, Alabama lost to.
Right.
They beat that. Your head to head is gonna be that Auburn game is the biggest thing.
Right. It wasn't Alabama year this year. Like, that, it clearly don't look like the same program defensive wise. Their offense has been the same since Nick Saban been there. They got a bunch of speed at wide receiver, good route runners, and then 2 hell of a good, running backs. They pound you out, they post route you and slant you to death, and they beat you with the speed. And then defense, you can't run on them because their front 4 ain't playing with you. And then they linebackers clean up anything that get past them, but the secondary is still weak. They big, I don't know what kind of receivers that's in the SEC that you need, like corners that big and stuff. Like they corners seem like they supposed to be playing free safety and strong safety.
Mm.
So, cause you remember we were watching the game and I was talking to you and I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
the guy from Alabama, I forgot what number he was.
We talked about that. We've always
Yeah,
said that their weak point has.
he was playing way like when they were playing the LSU. I
They're
was like,
way far out. Yeah, they
yeah,
gave
he
too much
was
space.
too much
Then
cushion because it take a big guy to get. It's freaks out there. They can be 6'3", 6'4", and get up fast. But they don't have them cats out there. They can turn them hips and run and cut and all that. Like they got them boys that if you catch the ball, they gonna put you down though.
yeah.
So
So I think we've talked about that enough. You know what I think? I think maybe next week we save the rest of the bowl games. Maybe we go through each of the bowl games. We talk about
hold on, not each one now.
not
I
each
don't want to
one.
hear
All right.
about no
Let,
Enterprise
okay.
or
We'll
Easy
talk about
Riddle.
maybe we can talk about the New Year's Six bowls, and then we can talk about maybe the Saturday. Saturday through Monday. Some of the names that we know. We're not talking about
Okay.
the no offense to Ashley Furniture because you did my furniture, but we're not talking about the Ashley Furniture Sofa Bowl or anything like that.
No,
We want
no.
the big names. We're talking about
Right,
Citrus, about Cotton, those bowls. So maybe we talk about
right.
that next week.
Okay, we can do that.
All
And
right,
then
and then
we go to the game
mhm.
Friday, so we'll do a little clip before the game, and then a
You look at
clip.
my face before the game and after the game. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. I don't
I'm
got no
happy
dog in
the
this.
game
I don't
for
got no
you.
dog in this fight, but I'm a
Yeah, for
LeBron
you.
fan. I'm just going to see him and
Yeah,
AD
that's what
do
I'm
their
saying.
thing. I don't care if they win or lose, but I got them winning though.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
All right then, man. Well, I think that's everything that we got. So again, we're talking about the podcast world, Raymond and Sons.
Yeah.
Thank you again for all of the support. If you guys want to reach out to us at Raymond and Sons podcast at gmail.com. You can hit us up, Raymond and Sons Twitter. Hit us up, Raymond and Sons podcast at Twitter, Raymond and Sons podcast and YouTube.
Instagram.
Instagram. So find us in all those things because again, you got to make sure that you watch us when we are watching the game. So you got to make sure you get some of those clips.
Yep.
Anything else you want to leave the
Subscribe.
world with? Subscribe, 5-star reviews, say we're the best. You
Yeah.
want us to say anything, any shout outs, let us know so we can show you guys some love, all right?
Yeah. Shout outs and sponsors. Walmart. Hey.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah.
Sonos. Hey.
Sonos.
We
Sonos.
here.
We're giving you the free
Anybody else?
stuff now, but later we want the real deal Holyfield.
Yeah. So shout out to everybody. Appreciate the love and the support and keep watching and tuning in.
All right, Rod. Thank you again, my man. See you next week. Raymond and Sons. See you later.